First of all, I think like it's very like you can feel a lot of difference because we're living in a breathable house. And for maybe for SP, he's used to living in that kind of a house. But for me, we shifted recently after we built my home for the last 3 years, so I can feel the difference. First of all, like we get better sleep. Our my mom had some knee pain, and like some issues with her feet, and we have a mud floor here. So, and then her knee pains have reduced drastically, and she's all right now. So health wise, we have a lot of benefits. And because of the breathability, I think the air is also more purer. Yeah, so many. These are benefit, or these are things that shape us, which we can feel. There are so many other things which we can't feel also. So, if you want to make it a handmade home, like a proper handmade home, I think to an extent the scale is restrictive. It like especially in southern India, because we have, and natural building is just like farming. You have to look at the seasons. You have to like plan for the rains. Like you have to put on the roof before the rains happen, and you can't do your finishing when there's a lot of moisture. It gets sticky. So it's very responsive. It's a very climate responsive architecture. So in that sense, we have to be well planned, or keep it small.
Yeah, and
So
actually
so that
it
you're
can fulfill the need. Like need is just to have a basic shelter, but if you want more than like, if we talk about the one, then like it will be more like 15 16 floor mean. Then with natural building you can do, but it may cost lots of money. It's not easy to do, so it can it can fulfill our need easily. Mm, I think it depends on places.
Huh.
Like at my place everything is very cheap. Like still we build with stone, still we build with adobe, that mud brick. That cheaper because it's locally available now. But whereas in mainland India, this kind of technique has been vanished and it's not available. Since one is material is not available, another thing is skill is not available. So that skill costs lots of money. Plus people don't have experience building it, so the knowledges that we used to have or all gone. So while building or doing some kind of houses, there are more like possibilities to happen mistake. That mistake also add up some money, and we have to do experiment, because we are not really like, it's not like cement. Everybody have some common sense, because we've been every day everyone is doing something. So there are like lots of develop or what is the way of doing it, because we've been working more toward mainstream building to make it more effective. But whereas for this natural building, we haven't worked on it to make it more effective. So that's why. But it depends. In some places it can be way cheaper. It depends. It's not necessarily expensive. It's just
yeah.
the decision take a lot of time. Yeah.
So you can even
You can
like I think recently one of our friends client, like it was an owner build. The owner took the responsibility on themselves, and they were able to finish the house in like 800 rupees per square feet, I think. That was the end cost. So you can actually do it, but if you get involved in yourself, put in a lot of effort. You don't have to like even like put in the physical effort, but like uh, uh, be on site every day, make sure everything happens, putting in a lot of effort to get resourced and recycled materials. uh, so it depends on how much effort you can put in and how much time you can put in also. If you want to outsource the work,
and
then
that's
it becomes expensive.
Okay.
now that there's a way to make it more cheaper and fun. That is like how, like we've been doing workshop. If you have friends coming along, so everybody can build together how it used to be earlier. So that will cut down the labor cost. Plus it will be like, as a community you will be building. So there's not just physically building something. It will be a pleasure for everyone to build together.
Um,
Yeah,
That
actually,
provide that.
like in this technique, actually the materials are very it's not very expensive, but what happens is the labor cost escalates. That's why, like, if you're doing it with like commercially, then your cost increases. uh, Even like participants who come to our workshop, they come like some of them come thinking that they want to learn this technique and build on their own. So for us, like, if somebody goes back and does that, that's a huge success for us as a, host for the workshop. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, true. See, for them, mostly it's because the media has been projecting that way. If you're living in mud house, it means you are poor. You are like inferior. If you're living in cement house or steel house, which costs lots of money, mean you are like rich. Is the media one? First thing is media doing this. Media and government. Even government don't allow in lots of part to build mud houses also because government don't appreciate this traditional architecture much. So one is that, and plus for them, mostly what villager does is like they don't maintain the houses. After some time, if mud houses, if you don't maintain, it will start like start crumbling, start falling apart. So they don't want to do. One is they want something which has less maintenance. Earlier time we used to have lots of time. That's why maintenance wasn't a problem. Now people may not have time, but still it's not necessary that mud house can have lots of maintenance. It's just designing matter. So people, when they say mud house, they just build a shelter kind of thing. So now when we do project, we just don't build as a shelter. It can be very like you can done it do it very beautifully, like everything plaster, everything can be smooth, and a lot more way to do it, like what is that, look good also. Because otherwise mud house means just I think in village you might have seen, no, just with some broken tile and a broken wall. So that's why mindset has become that mud house mean a broken and poor house. Yep.
And also the aspirations, like how uh, it's a projection from society. Like, having that means that you're better. So it's just people aspiring, so we can't like change their mindset. I think if people from the city start taking up these options, then they'll start appreciating it on their own. It has come in actually, like little bit, because there are news coming up about, at least stabilized earth blocks, Orwell, and like there's so many institutions which are doing large scale things. And there are now they're seeing that mud is actually a resource, and what they have is not bad. And people from the city come and especially look at courtyard houses and all. They have Everybody has a fascination for courtyard houses. So when they come and visit the villages and see that other people appreciate these kind of things, now actually there's a little bit of value. They started appreciating
Yeah.
their own
Mhm.
traditions
Yeah,
and
actually,
what they have.
as a human nature, we always like to like go for something new. When people earlier, when people were living in this mud houses, that time cement and steel kind of modern houses introduced. So for them it was fascinating. So that's why they went for that. Now they've been living in that kind of housing, and this style was there for centuries. So they are again looking for something new. That new is like going back to the mud houses with a little modern style. So earlier we may not have lots of option to make it better, but now we have lots of option to make it like much more better. So people are coming back a lot nowadays. Yep. Natural building, it doesn't mean that only using something natural material is good. See, like suppose I'm in Ladakh, if I say lime, like how we consider it's a natural material. If I say I want to build something with lime in Ladakh and transporting that from somewhere from Delhi, from here Delhi to Ladakh, that will cause lots of, like it will have lots of carbon footprint. So not just material make it like sustainable, eco-friendly house. It's also a matter of what is locally available. If you, because at the last what matter is the carbon footprint, how much we are producing it. So it's not just the material which has to be natural. Because some people may mistook it, saying just material mean the natural building. It's we have to see the background of it, where it's coming from, transportation and everything else.
So we had experiences also, like people who are working in one of, say, a mason or an electrician, they would be interested in like doing this, but uh, in their situation they wouldn't have the money to invest in fully, but loans are not made available for these kinds of buildings.
Oh,
So
okay.
uh, that is like a huge challenge. There were two, three cases, two, three people who were interested but not able to do it because loans are not made available. And these houses are
Mm.
recognized as kacha houses. So the value that is, mm, attached, what do you say, like monetarily or financially, is much lesser than what it would be attached to say, for a conventional building. So the banks, and even approvals, everything is difficult for this
Mm.
particular sector.
Mud houses.
Yeah. So maybe changes in that, and allowing these kind of bills within the city limits would make
A lot of
uh,
difference.
y- yeah, a lot of, once it pops up in the city, and then if people like it and then people aspire for it, uh, uh, then makes it would, like that one house, cob house in Bangalore, made such a big difference. It went like everybody was appreciating it, and like people are aspiring to make such a house in the city, a breath of fresh air. So yeah, like even though we're making farmhouses here, like not many people just cross by. It's isolated, but one pops up in the city, then people just keep crossing it, seeing what it is. At least awareness will build up. Yeah. Yeah.
Because if we build mud houses, it doesn't add up to the GDP. We won't be buying lots of stuff. So for government, there's no use. So they want to increase their economy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and many of the materials used in the conventional system are heavily subsidized, still heavily subsidized by the
Yeah.
government. So,
Yeah.
and that is one reason why we cannot compete with rates.
The same thing happens in
Even
farming
the,
also. Yeah.
yeah,
Ah,
definitely, definitely. So first of all, I think more than the actual construction process, I think the last year's, if you look at the data for carbon footprint, I think the building running process actually was 28% or something like that. It was higher than actually in the manufacturing of the products. Running the AC, and that was actually higher than actually manufacturing of the product. So if you're deciding
Repairing
to,
plant and all.
yeah, yeah, so that would make a huge shift. Like only if people just avoided ACs and have their own proper ventilation and lighting, I think that would itself make a lot of difference. You don't even have to decide to live in a natural house. Just decide to design your house well, and have proper ventilation and lighting. That itself would, like bring in a lot of environmental improvement.